Have you ever met someone who barely speaks, but when they finally say something, everyone listens? Not because they are loud, not because they demand attention, but because their words carry weight. Their silence feels different, powerful, mysterious, almost intimidating.
And then there are people who talk constantly. They dominate conversations. They argue about everything. They always want the last word. But somehow, after listening to them for 5 minutes, you realize they said absolutely nothing meaningful.
That's because intelligence does not always announce itself. In fact, truly smart people often become quieter as they grow older. Not weaker, not insecure, just wiser.
Because the more you understand people, the more you understand life, the less you feel the need to explain yourself to everyone. And tonight, we're going deep into the psychology of silence. Why intelligent people stay quiet, why silence scares people, and why the loudest person in the room is rarely the wisest.
We live in a world addicted to noise. Social media rewards attention. The loudest opinions get the most views. People compete to be noticed. Everyone wants to speak, but very few want to listen.
Think about modern culture. People interrupt each other constantly. Everyone wants validation. Everyone wants to prove, I'm right, I'm smarter, look at me, notice me. And slowly, silence became misunderstood.
If today someone is quiet, people assume something is wrong. They say, "Why are you so silent? Are you shy? Are you upset? Do you lack confidence?" But sometimes quietness is not insecurity. Sometimes it's awareness.
Because intelligent people realize something important very early in life. Most conversations are not about learning. They're about ego. People don't listen to understand. They listen to defend themselves, to respond, to dominate, to win.
And once you realize that, you stop wasting energy talking unnecessarily. You begin choosing peace over pointless arguments.
One of the biggest differences between intelligent people and average people is observation. Smart people notice details, tiny details, the way someone changes their tone, the fake smile, the nervous laugh, the hidden jealousy, things most people completely miss.
Because while everyone else is busy talking, the intelligent person is studying the room, watching human behavior, listening carefully, analyzing energy.
And honestly, people reveal themselves very quickly when you stay silent. Most people become uncomfortable with silence, so they keep talking, and eventually, they expose who they really are.
Their insecurities, their ego, their dishonesty, their desperation for approval. Silence becomes like a mirror. It forces people to reveal themselves.
That's why intelligent people don't rush to speak, because information is power, and listening gives you more information than speaking ever will.
There's a strange thing about intelligence. The smarter someone becomes, the more human they usually become.
Because knowledge destroys arrogance. When you truly begin learning about life, you realize how little you actually know, and that realization changes your personality completely.
Meanwhile, people with very little understanding often act the most confident. They speak loudly, they argue aggressively, they pretend to know everything. Because shallow knowledge creates ego, but deep knowledge creates humility.
A truly intelligent person understands, I could be wrong, and that sentence alone already makes them wiser than most people.
That's why smart people rarely feel the need to prove their intelligence, because intelligence is not performance, it's understanding.
As intelligent people grow older, they begin protecting their energy very carefully, because they understand something painful. Not every conversation deserves your attention.
Some people only want drama. Some people only want reactions. Some people argue not to find truth, but to feed their ego. and intelligent people recognize this quickly.
So instead of fighting every battle, they walk away. Not because they lost, but because peace matters more than ego.
This is one of the hardest lessons in life. You do not need to attend every argument you are invited to.
Some people will misunderstand you no matter how clearly you explain yourself. Some people enjoy negativity, and some people simply aren't emotionally mature enough to understand your perspective.
That's why smart people stop over-explaining. They stop chasing validation, and they stop trying to save everyone. Because wisdom teaches you something difficult. You cannot force awareness into someone who refuses to think.
Another reason intelligent people stay quiet is emotional control. Most people react instantly. They speak from anger, from insecurity, from impulse.
But intelligent people pause. They think before responding because they know one emotional moment can destroy years of trust.
Words are powerful. A single sentence can ruin relationships, destroy opportunities, break confidence, create regret that lasts years.
That's why silence is often strength, because controlling your emotions is harder than expressing them. Anyone can scream, anyone can react, but staying calm, especially during disrespect, requires real mental power.
There's another truth nobody talks about. Many intelligent people become quiet because life made them that way.
They trusted the wrong people. They opened their heart too much. They shared their dreams, their emotions, their pain. And eventually, they learned not everyone deserves access to their inner world.
So they became more private, more careful, more silent. Not because they stopped feeling emotions, but because they felt too much.
And honestly, some of the deepest people you'll ever meet are carrying silent battles nobody knows about.
Sometimes silence is not emptiness. Sometimes it's healing.
Most people are terrified of being alone. They need constant entertainment, constant attention, constant noise.
But intelligent people often enjoy solitude, because solitude creates clarity.
When you are alone, you finally hear your own thoughts. You reflect. You analyze your mistakes. You understand yourself.
And that's why many creative geniuses, philosophers, writers, and successful thinkers spent enormous time alone, not because they hated people, but because deep thinking requires silence.
Great ideas are born in quiet moments, not in chaos, not in endless distractions, and not in constant social validation.
There's also another reason smart people stay quiet. The more you speak, the more power you give away.
People learn your weaknesses, your emotions, your insecurities, your plans. And unfortunately, not everyone wants the best for you.
So wise people move silently. They build privately, they work quietly, and they let results speak for them.
A lion does not need to announce itself every minute. Its presence alone is enough.
Have you noticed something strange? Silence makes many people uncomfortable.
Because silence removes distraction, and when distraction disappears, people are forced to face themselves, their fears, their insecurities, their loneliness, their thoughts.
That's why many people constantly seek noise. Music, social media, notifications, drama, attention. Anything to avoid sitting alone with their own mind.
But intelligent people learn to become comfortable with silence. And once you become comfortable alone, you become very difficult to manipulate.
Maybe the reason smart people stay quiet is because they understand something most people spend their entire lives learning.
That attention is temporary, ego is fragile, arguments are endless, and peace is priceless.
They understand that not every opinion deserves a response, not every insult deserves anger, and not every person deserves an explanation.
So, if you are someone who feels quiet in a loud world, don't think something is wrong with you. Sometimes silence is intelligence, sometimes silence is healing, and sometimes silence is power.
Because the strongest minds are not always the loudest ones. Sometimes the deepest person in the room is the one saying the least.
If this episode connected with you, take a moment tonight and ask yourself, are you speaking to express yourself or speaking just to be noticed?
And remember, smart people don't waste words. They choose them carefully.